I just swim against the stream. I enjoy it. So so I started doing YouTube and blog. I just focused on those two things and just getting that content, getting it out, cranking it out on all these issues with plants and stuff. And it just took off. It took about a year. It took about 2 years for us to rank #1 in Miami. That's how much work that was, putting out 3 to 5 blogs a week and about, 2 to 5 videos a week. I was spending about maybe 40% of my time on marketing and then going out and making the sales from those leads. So that happened for 2 years. Then that took off. And, and at the same time, I'm doing the podcast for Pest Geek. Everybody in the industry rejected me, literally. I mean, I got more hate mail. You thought I'd kill babies. You're a heretic. You're ruining the industry. Nobody's going to go for that natural junk, and IPM can't be done. Mind you, we've been discussing IPM. For those of you of your audience doesn't understand what IPM is, integrated pest management. This has been discussed at depth at every single major university in the country and in the world for the last 50 years. Yet everybody says it can't be done in residential homes. Why? Because nobody will pay for it. You're down here in a bloody ocean competing for $35 accounts, and I'm up here selling $500 initials to clients who want it. I always tell people there's 3 things that I need from a client. I've been in sales for 30 years. I says they have to want the product or need it. They have to have the ability to pay for the product, but they have to be willing. And a lot of people have this, but they're not willing to pay for it. And I only care about the person that's willing. So when people were seeking me out, it says, oh my God, I've been calling. Nobody does this. I found you online. It's like, finally, then I give them the price and like, oh, I didn't realize it was that expensive. But, we don't care. We just care about the ones that really can afford it, because it is a lot. It was a lot of time in the home. And the greatest thing that probably did happen to us now, believe it or not, was COVID. Because it pushed us when we lost 30% of our business overnight because nobody wanted you in the home, and you have to go in the home to solve a roach problem. You can't solve it from outside, at least not most of the time. And our roach clients and all that in Miami were mostly apartment renters, individual apartment renters, by the way, that landlords will not solve the problem because they have a guy coming in for $5 a unit spraying their floors. And we're like, listen, it's this much to solve that problem. They're like, we can't afford it. We're both out of work. Costs were rising. Gas went through the roof. I mean, how do you make it? We did try to keep as many people on as possible. One of them, his hours were cut so much, that he could not afford it. He went out. He's back now with me again, he started out with me at 17 an hour, knowing nothing. He's making well over 24 an hour now, 2 years later. So the best thing that could have happened to us was, again, 2009, because it forced me to look at our operations and say, how do we make this more affordable? Because it had to come to affordability, or else most people could not do it. And I said, I want to go mainstream. I want to compete head to head with the big guys. It's time that we're able to scale. We haven't been able to scale to this point. We're only 4 people in our business. I'm one of them. We were able to grow, but not scale. We're highly profitable because our gross margins are really good, because I've shielded against, I fought that tooth and nail for everybody. Told me, you cannot sell pest control at that price. It just can't be done. And I said, you understand that I went after the 1% that could. And I focused on that. But that was, for a lot of people, that's unthinkable, because I can't afford to say no to people. I got to say yes to everybody just to eat, because I'm starting out. I was in a position where I said, no, I'm going to hold out, lived off the sale of equipment, literally lived in a little studio apartment, for $900 a month, which for most people around the country in Carolina, $900 a month, you can still rent a house. We're talking about a 1-bedroom studio apartment. So I can scale this and basically literally start all over again
Mm-hmm.
from what I had built. And so it's a lot of humble pie. You got to be willing to do it. But I saw what everybody else couldn't. And now I got people all over the country telling me, hey, I listened to what you said for the last 8 years. I started doing it and it's working.